Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki, known here as the One-Handed Bandit, and I created this purple and gold cut crease, and I'm sure you would want to see how I created this. So I went ahead and did one eye off camera because I was pretty nervous as to how I would do this look. And this is my inspiration, Cakefaceaddict. I saw her look on Instagram and I decided to do a recreation. So I am starting with the Morphe X James Charles palette, and I'm just showing you the eye up close just so you can get an idea of what I'm going to do. And I've already went ahead and moisturized my lips with the Fenty Gloss Bomb, the original. And this is the palette that we will be using, and I am using the Plouise base in Romour 1, and I'm just adding that to my lid, and then I'm going to blend it out with my finger. I like to blend it out with my finger because then I can feel when it starts to get dry. I don't like to go in when it's wet because it's hard for me to blend out the shadow. So going in with this first shade, this pink shade, and it's called Pinkity Drinkity. And I am using a Morphe 504 brush, and then I am just packing the color on to my crease lightly. And I'm slowly building the color up just by tapping it onto my crease. So now that I have packed on enough of the shadow, I'm going to slowly begin blending the pink into my crease. And now that that's all blended out, I'm going to go in with this deep purple shade called Escape from the palette. And I am using a MAC 224 brush, and I'm going right under the pink shade, and I'm slowly building the color up the same as we did with the pink shade. But now that we have the pink shade down, we don't have to tap on the purple because we've already have a base down. So I'm just slowly adding that purple and blending it up. And now I'm taking another blending brush, and I added that lighter pink right on top of that first pink shade, just using that to blend the pink and the purple together so that there's no harsh line. So now I'm going back into my Plouise base, and I'm going to begin cutting my crease, just carving out, mapping out the shape that I want my eye to be. I'm going to try as best as I can to do my crease the same as the other eye. So I'm looking back and forth trying to see how to best map out the lid. So now that I have the crease all cut out, I'm going to blend the purple shade on the outer portion of my crease just so that I can have some dimension and so that it can look very similar to my other eye. Now that that's done, I'm going to add some of this black shade from the palette, which is called Spooky. And I'm just gonna line the crease just like that. Now, I don't know how she did her look, but this is just my interpretation of what I think she did using the same palette. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, so I did the other eye a little differently, and I learned from how I did the other eye on how to do this eye. So I'm going in with the Morphe gel liner in the shade Jet, and I'm going to line my lash line. On the other eye, I didn't do this first. What I did was I added the gold first and then did the liner, but I got so much glitter onto the liner, so I figured on this eye I would do liner first before adding the gold. So now I'm just drawing out where I want the liner to be. So the liner was giving me a little bit of trouble, so I just did the rest of it off camera. And then next for a base, I'm using this gold shade in the palette right next to Ring Light. And I'm just going to add that in my lid where I want the glitter to be. And it's just a base. It's not going to be very pigmented, but it's just something for the glitter to stick to. So now that I laid down the gold shade, I'm going to go in with the NYX glitter primer, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that onto the back of my hand, very little. And I'm going to begin with the inner portion of my eye with that same brush that I used to cut my crease. And I'm just going to add a little bit at a time, just starting with the inner portion. I add just about that much, and then I use this glitter. I don't know where I got this glitter from. I have like a set of 20 different glitters that I believe I bought from Amazon, but this is the shade that I felt was most similar to the glitter that she used on Instagram. So I'm just packing that glitter onto my lid a little bit at a time so that it doesn't, get out of hand. And at this point, you can tell that my liner is very different on the other eye. So I'm realizing that now, and then I go back in and I fix that liner. And then I also clean up with a baby wipe. I'm sure she probably used concealer, but this is what works best for me. I just cleaned up the outer portion of my eye with the baby wipe. And then I went back in with the deep purple shade just to add some dimension to the eye. And these are the lashes that I use. These are in the style Sassy, and they are by Lash by Key. And now that I added the lashes, I go back in once more with the gel liner just to try to get it as close as possible as the other eye. And now for a face application, I use the Cover FX Blurring Primer. And for my foundation, I use the L'Oreal Infallible in Coconut. And this shade is very dark for me. It's extremely red. But I go ahead and use it and blend it all out with my Morphe foundation brush. And to balance out that dark foundation, I'm using the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Sand. And if your foundation is dark, you can always go in with a lighter concealer, and the two should balance each other out. So now that that's blended, I am getting my money's worth using this Fenty setting powder. I used it under my eye, and then I also go in and add it all over my face. And as you can see, it also lightens up that foundation as well, since it does brighten as well. Then I go in and line my bottom lash line with the purple shade that we use in the crease with a pencil brush. And then I use the pink shade right underneath, and then I just blend the pink shade out. For blush, I am using the Juvias Place blush in the shade Sarafina. This is a lighter shade blush, so I wanted to use this instead of adding too much pigment to my cheeks because the eyes are very dramatic. And I'm just going to add this white shimmery shade called Ring Light into my inner tear duct. And for my highlight, I'm going to use this Ofra Cosmetics highlighter, which I got in my Allure beauty box, and it is in the shade Everglow. And I'm using this champagne color on my cheeks. And it is a very nice highlighter. I think it's just a tad ashy on me, but it looks like I need to blend it out a little more. And then I'll go in with another shade just to add something to the focal point of my cheek. So I'm using the white shade to add to the corner of my cheek. And I'm just going to add the champagne shade just down the bridge of my nose, on the tip of my nose, on my cupid's bow, and both points on my forehead as well. I typically don't like to highlight my forehead too much because I have texture on my forehead. I don't want to add any attention to it, but this is a really glowy look, so I just decided to add it today. And this highlighter, it's very pretty. Once you go in and you build it up and you blend it, it looks very nice. So here I just went ahead and added some to my cheeks so that when I look head on, you can see that highlighter on my cheeks. And I am really feeling this concealer, so I'll definitely be using it again in my future looks. And for lips, I'm using the Crayon Case lip liner in the shade Magentile. And I'm just going to use that to align my lips. And for my lipstick, I am using Colourpop and Ellarie collab in the shade Yoshi. This was the closest shade that I can get to the lip that Cakefaceaddict used in her look. But this is the final look. This was a very fun recreation. I didn't think that I would be able to achieve it, but I did, and it was fun. So I will be continuing to do recreations, and I hope that you all have enjoyed me creating this look today. And I have inserted unedited photos so that you can see the look up close and personal. And be sure to check out Cake Face Addict on Instagram. Also, if you want, can you tag her down in the comment section? And I hope that you enjoy. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.